In the dim glow of his modest apartment, single dad Alex Thompson stared at the envelope on his kitchen table, his hands trembling as tears welled in his eyes. Inside was a check that could change everything, a sum large enough to secure his daughter's future, pay off debts, and finally breathe without the weight of worry crushing his chest. But how had it come to this? Just 24 hours earlier, he'd been a forgotten custodian in a high-rise office, scraping by on minimum wage. What his boss did the next morning after he saved her life would leave you speechless. If this twist has you on the edge of your seat already, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories that prove kindness can rewrite destinies. Now, let's rewind to where it all began. Alex Thompson was the kind of man life had beaten down but never broken. At 35, he was raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, all on his own after his wife, Sarah, passed away from cancer 3 years ago. The loss had shattered him, turning vibrant days into a monotonous grind of work, school runs, and hospital bills that still haunted his mailbox. By day, he worked as a janitor at Apex Innovations, a sleek tech firm in the heart of the city, mopping floors and emptying trash bins while executives in tailored suits hurried past without a glance. Nights were for Lily, helping with homework, cooking simple meals, and tucking her in with stories of better tomorrows he wasn't sure he believed in anymore. Money was always tight. Alex's paycheck barely covered rent in their cramped 2-bedroom apartment, let alone the extras Lily deserved. She was a bright kid, with curly hair like her mom's and a laugh that could light up the darkest room, but lately, her questions cut deep. "Daddy, why can't I go to art camp like my friends?" she'd ask, her big eyes full of innocent hope. Alex would force a smile, promising, soon, while inside, guilt gnawed at him. He dreamed of giving her the world, but reality was a constant battle, skipping meals to afford her school supplies, patching up old clothes, and ignoring the ache in his back from double shifts. One stormy Friday evening, as thunder rumbled outside the towering glass building, Alex was finishing his rounds. The office was empty, save for the faint hum of computers and the occasional flicker of fluorescent lights. He was about to clock out when he heard muffled sobs from the executive suite. Curiosity, and a sense of duty, drew him closer. Peeking through the cracked door, he saw his boss, Victoria Hale, slumped over her desk. At 42, Victoria was a force in the corporate world, CEO of Apex, sharp-minded, impeccably dressed, and known for her no-nonsense demeanor. But tonight, she was a mess, disheveled hair, mascara-streaked cheeks, and an empty bottle of whiskey rolling on the floor. Victoria had her own demons. Behind the facade of success was a woman crumbling under pressure. Her marriage had imploded 6 months ago when her husband left for someone younger, taking half her world with him. The divorce had been brutal, splashed across tabloids, and the board was whispering about her instability. She drowned her sorrows in work and, increasingly, in alcohol. Tonight, after a grueling meeting where investors questioned her leadership, she'd hit rock bottom. Alone in her office, she'd polished off the bottle, intending to drive home in the pouring rain, a decision that could end everything. Alex hesitated at the door. He wasn't close to Victoria, she barely knew his name. To her, he was just the cleaning guy. But seeing her like this, vulnerable, broken, stirred something in him. Memories of Sarah's final days flashed, her frail body, the helplessness he'd felt. He couldn't walk away. "Miss Hale," he called softly, stepping inside. She looked up, eyes glassy and unfocused. Who are you?" she slurred, trying to stand but wobbling dangerously. "I'm Alex, from maintenance," he said, steadying her. "You shouldn't drive like this. Let me call you a cab." She waved him off, grabbing her keys. "I'm fine. Just, leave me alone." But as she staggered toward the elevator, Alex followed, his heart pounding. The storm outside was ferocious, winds howling, rain lashing the windows like angry fists. In the parking garage, she fumbled with her luxury car's door, insisting she was okay. Alex knew better, he'd seen enough accidents on the news to recognize disaster brewing. "Please, ma'am," he pleaded, gently taking the keys. "It's not safe. I'll drive you home." She protested weakly, but exhaustion won out. Reluctantly, she slumped into the passenger seat of his beat-up sedan, the one with the duct-taped side mirror and a faint smell of Lily's spilled juice boxes. As he navigated the flooded streets, lightning illuminated her tear-streaked face. In slurred fragments, she opened up, the divorce, the loneliness, the fear of losing her empire. Alex listened without judgment, sharing bits of his own story, Sarah's illness, raising Lily alone. For the first time, they weren't boss and employee, they were two souls adrift in the same storm. The drive was treacherous. Puddles turned roads into rivers, and at one point, a fallen branch forced Alex to swerve sharply. Victoria gasped, clutching the door. "You saved me," she murmured as they pulled up to her sprawling mansion on the outskirts of town. He helped her inside, making sure she was safe on the couch with a glass of water and aspirin nearby. "Get some rest," he said quietly. She nodded, already drifting off. Alex called a rideshare for himself, arriving home soaked and weary just in time to kiss Lily goodnight. The next morning, Alex woke to the usual chaos, Lily's giggles over cereal, the coffee maker sputtering its last drops. He dreaded work. What if Victoria remembered? What if she fired him for overstepping? But bills waited for no one, so he headed to the office, blending into the background as always. By mid-morning, whispers rippled through the building. Victoria was in a meeting, but something was off. She looked different. Composed, yes, but with a softness in her eyes that hadn't been there before. Then, the intercom buzzed, Alex Thompson to the CEO's office, immediately. His stomach dropped. Coworkers exchanged glances, janitors didn't get called to the top floor. Heart racing, he rode the elevator up, expecting the worst. Victoria's door was open, and she stood by the window, sunlight framing her like a new dawn. "Alex," she said, turning with a warm smile that caught him off guard. "Come in. Sit." He perched on the edge of a leather chair, fidgeting. "About last night," he started, but she raised a hand. "You saved my life, Alex. Not just from the road, but from myself. I was in a dark place, and you pulled me out without asking for anything in return." Her voice cracked slightly, revealing the emotion beneath her poise. "I don't pretend to forget kindness like that." What she did next left him speechless. First, she promoted him, not to some token role, but to facilities manager, with a salary that doubled his income overnight. "You've got the heart for leadership," she said. "And the skills. I've checked your file, you have a degree in engineering you never used because life got in the way." But that was just the beginning. Knowing his story from their rainy confessions, she set up a trust fund for Lily's education, covering art camp, college, everything. "Your daughter deserves the world," Victoria told him, handing over the envelope with the initial check. "And so do you." Tears streamed down Alex's face as he stammered thanks. It wasn't just the money, it was the recognition, the humanity. Victoria shared more. She'd checked into therapy that morning, vowing to rebuild her life. "You reminded me that vulnerability isn't weakness," she said. "It's a bridge to connection." As Alex left her office, the weight lifted from his shoulders felt like flying. Word spread quickly, colleagues clapped him on the back, calling him a hero. But to Alex, it was simple. One act of compassion had sparked a chain reaction. That evening, as he picked up Lily from school, she beamed at the news of art camp. "Daddy, is this real?" she asked, hugging him tight. "It is, kiddo," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. For the first time in years, hope bloomed in his chest. Victoria and Alex's paths intertwined beyond that day. She became a mentor, even joining them for occasional dinners, her laughter filling their home like a missing piece. In the end, this isn't just a story of rescue, it's a reminder that in our busiest, broken moments, a single act of kindness can echo forever. It shows that heroes wear janitor uniforms as often as suits, and that redemption waits for those brave enough to extend a hand. If this tale touched your heart, like and subscribe for more inspiring stories that prove empathy changes lives. Who knows? Your next act of kindness might just rewrite someone's story, including your own.